Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Shelach Lecha. It contains a story which is a very important one in the history of the Israelites. Moses is commanded by God to send the children of Israel, to send 12 representatives into the land of Israel to spy out the land so that they can go ahead and conquer the land. And of course, you know how the story goes. The 12 spies go in, they see that it's indeed a land that is flowing with milk and honey. It's everything that's been promised. But when they come back to give a report to Moses and the people, they are a little bit more reserved in their estimation of whether we can conquer the land. As a matter of fact, they are absolutely cowed by the cities and the inhabitants, and this leads the children of Israel to have a total lack of faith. It's sort of like a meltdown. Even though there are two spies, Joshua and Caleb, who say, hey, we can do this. God has been with us this far. We can handle this. The children of Israel lose hope. Of course, God is quite angered and wants to destroy the people. Moses strikes a deal, and the people aren't stricken down entirely, but we are told to wander for 40 years in the wilderness to allow one generation to die off and a new generation to enter in its place. To me, at this time of the year especially, this Torah portion has special meaning because we are, in many ways, I feel like the 12 spies, sort of entering out into the world post-COVID or sort of post-COVID, trying to figure out what exactly it's going to be like, and is this something that we'll be able to conquer? Is this something that we'll be able to overcome? Or are the dangers out there still too great? And it's interesting, just as the 12 spies all basically saw the same thing and reached different conclusions, I think many of us also are presented with the exact same information, and yet we draw different conclusions about whether we feel safe being inside or outside, with a mask, without a mask, and so forth. One of the messages of this story is, of course, that the children of Israel should have relied a little bit more on their experience from the past of what God had done for them, and understood God's willingness to help them through the future as well, no matter how difficult the conquest might have seemed. And perhaps that provides us some guidance as well, that we should look to the experts who have gotten us through this pandemic so far, look to their advice and to their instruction to help us as we navigate into a hopefully new and better promised land of post-pandemic period. This week at Bethel, the Heights Synagogue, we mark the following Yahrzeit observances: Leonard Silverman, Charles J. Kitts, Robert Sheaf Gooch, Herman Brody, Sadie Strayer, Ida Abrams Lewis, Adele Libman, Penina Bloom, Ethel Nuger, and Ian S. Miller. Shabbat Shalom.